breaking down Lubbock High sports. This is the Westerner Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Welcome in on a Wednesday night. This is the High School Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and Fox 34 News Now. I'm Randy Rosetta. We're going to talk some high school sports for the next hour and a half, like we do every Monday and Wednesday from Thanksgiving until the end of the school year. Then when we get back into the fall, we'll go, we have gone 3 nights a week, or we'll see if that keeps up. We may juggle it a little bit. We're going to jump into the Westerner Fan Zone and talk some softball here in just a minute. I want to throw this out there, and we'll talk a little bit more about it when we get to the friendship segment. But there was some news in Lubbock today on the sports and or coaching scene. Longtime Friendship boys basketball coach Paul Page is going to retire after 12 years at Friendship. He is hanging up his whistle. Had a pretty scary health situation this last August. Coached this season, but has just decided that it's time to focus on his health and his family. He's stepping away after 12 years, a guy who's been there a long time, accomplished an awful lot. Congratulations to him on what he's accomplished, and I'm looking forward to see what he does in the future. He took a lot of teams to the playoffs, and Daniela Garcia, the Lubbock High softball coach, is taking the Lady Westerners to the playoffs for the first time since she's been there. First time since 2018. And it took a play-in game. Lady Westerners went up to beautiful Tulia, Texas, Tulia, as my wife calls it, and beat Caprock. Beat them pretty handily, 9-2. I watched parts of the game as I got distracted watching you guys while I was doing my show on Monday night. Daniela, I had a photographer shoot some pictures. There was one she sent me 2 pictures that I really liked. There's one where it looks like your entire team was in the pitcher's circle. Like it must have been right after the final pitch. And I don't know if Haley will have you introduce your girls here in a minute. I don't know if it was a strikeout, but you could tell there was some unfiltered joy with your girls. That looked pretty fun.
Oh yeah. So for our last out, it was hit to our left fielder Addie, and she made a good play over the shoulder. And from there, I think everybody was a little in awe and shock. And then all the girls came together, celebrated. I mean, we finally broke through. We should have been there last year, but unfortunate circumstances. Just feeling that relief of getting into the playoffs and knowing that this is what it should have been the whole time. So.
Introduce these two because I want them to talk about it a little bit here.
So today I brought our battery, Haley Sotelo, who is a senior. She's pitched all 4 years for us. And then Kaylin Trevino, who is a junior catcher, and she's been with Haley all 3 of her years. So.
And Haley, you've thrown like 4,000 innings, I think, because every time I go to look to one of you guys' box scores, there you are, starting in the circle, throwing a lot of innings. How cool was it for you to be out there? Because we were just talking about it. I met you as a freshman. So I guess 3 years ago, you guys were a pretty solid team. Couldn't quite get over that hump, but you beat the day I covered you. You beat Lubbock Cooper, and it looked like you maybe had things going. Kept chopping wood these last few years. Finally got there with that win the other night. How cool was that to be in the middle of that? And I'm going to throw out your stats here in a minute, what you did that day. But how big was that for you?
It was really big. I mean, I couldn't do it without having my team to back me up and having. Defense was really on fire, and everybody was on ready to go.
I wrote a little blurb before the game talking about how one of your games you pitched against Caprock before was one of your better, maybe one of the better games of your career. Well, you made me look silly because you came back. Let me find it here. I'm going to call it up here. You came back the other day. You guys won 8-1. I'm going to call these stats up. I want to make sure I get them correct. Complete game, which is pretty rare, pretty common for you. You only gave up 4 hits and struck out 8. The reason your line is so impressive to me is because Caprock can swing the bats. Mm-hmm. You may be the only pitcher around here that's held them in check twice this season. Was that? I know you said your defense had a lot, and I watched parts of it and followed along on Game Changer. You had a lot of outfield. Your outfielders made a lot of plays. But what hex did you have over Caprock this season to pitch so well against them in those 2 games?
Well,
get your catcher to talk about it too.
Well, to me, it wasn't really about speed or like not having to think or second guess myself that my defense couldn't back me up, but knowing that I can spin the ball and move the ball, it was pretty good to me.
Kaylin, what was she doing so well the other day, especially?
Haley is just an all-around great pitcher. Her speed and her spin, the way she can spin that ball is really impressive. Being behind the plate and be able to see her curves, her screws, they really get a lot of people, but I think what got Caprock is her rise balls. A lot of them, rise and screws, they really got them because she has such good spin. It really gets out there, and I enjoy being able to be there, back there, and just backing her up, like even close misses. I know I can back her up, pick her up whenever we don't get the calls or our defense makes an error. Like, it's good to just be able to pick her up whenever she's down.
You didn't have to worry about that too much.
Nope, I did not.
Because that, like she said, that was a team effort. Danielle, I should know this by now. Were you a pitcher or a position player?
Oh, no, I was a position player.
Do you call pitches?
So I used to, and I handed over the reins this year, and they've done a great job. It's been a little hard to stay quiet sometimes, but I can trust these two.
Is it these two that call them?
They do, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
and I give my 2 cents to Kay every once in a while, just saying, hey, this hitter struck out on a screwball. You may want to picture that again. But other than that, these two got it, and I can't ask for anything more.
Then I'll get you to say this, then I may go back to Kaylin. You have to pitch. You have to use the wind to your advantage, because I noticed the guys I was listening to said it was a pretty stiff wind, and I mentioned a lot of fly balls. Kaylin, did you call pitches thinking let them hit it and get it up in the air?
Honestly, Haley, we kind of just both call it.
Yeah.
It just really just depends. If she calls off a pitch, we have signals that we follow by, and we really just go off each other. If she doesn't like a pitch I call, she'll let me know, and then we can get her to what she wants to do. So it's kind of just both of us.
Haley, do you guys get along well enough to shake her off if you need to?
Yes, sir, we do. It's like she can read me and know that when I'm gonna pitch, and like she knows me better than anything, to be honest, and she helps me out a lot. On wild pitches, she's there. I know I could trust her, and just all around good.
We got to talk about the offense when we come back here a little bit, because you guys did put some runs on the board, and I remember writing that up. It wasn't the usual suspects. It was top of the lineup and the bottom of the lineup kind of did some damage, which is a good sign going into the playoffs. Lady Westerners are in the playoffs. They play best of 3 series against Abilene Wiley starting Friday. When we come back, I'll give you the details on that, and we'll talk more Lubbock High softball after this break on the High School Fan Zone.
Diving headfirst into Lubbock High athletics. You're listening to the Westerner Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Welcome back in. This is the High School Fan Zone on a Wednesday night. We're starting out with Lubbock High. We'll follow up with Coronado, then Friendship and Lubbock Cooper. I want to call up the playoff information here. Here it is. Lubbock High and Abilene Wiley will play in a best of 3 series. And if you're not familiar with that, it means somebody's got to win 2 games, or you just keep playing until somebody's won 2 games. So that's why it's best of 3. They will play starting Friday at the Ira Softball Complex. It's not a very fancy name, but that's what it's called. I told you the superintendent in Ira is Garrett, that used to host this show.
Oh, no.
Garrett left it. I don't know if you... So I get good information from him, but he said the Ira Softball Complex. Game 1 will be 4:30 Friday. Game 2 is 11 a.m. Saturday, and then if they need a third game, it'll follow at about 1 o'clock or 30 minutes later. Do they have lights there, Daniela?
As far as I know, they do.
Okay, so I know it's an early start. Yeah. So you've coached in the playoffs as an assistant coach. This is your first time going as a head coach. The other day was more or less a playoff game. Yes. I know I've asked the girls before about jitters and butterflies. In that situation, does a coach have butterflies, or do you?
I've had them all season.
Well,
so yes, yes. I mean, I think it's just a part of the game, and if you don't, then there's something wrong with you.
How'd you guys calm Coach down?
Told her that I got it and that I knew what I was doing, and to have faith in me.
You didn't give up a whole lot. First of all, you didn't give up anything in the first inning, and against a team that swings the bats like that, that's always big. And then How quickly did you guys score? I know I wrote about it, but that's
In the third inning.
yeah. So it took a little bit of time to break the ice, but then you got the 4-run inning.
Yes.
And that's big. That's big for a team, but it's big for a pitcher as well. And I mentioned that it wasn't the middle of the lineup girls necessarily. It was the top, and then I know Peyton Fainer had some big swings. What's that tell you about your team that you're getting a lot of girls to contribute in games like that with so much at stake?
I think it just makes everybody else, relax a little bit, knowing that their teammates have their backs, and it doesn't matter what part of the lineup we have up. We know that we're going to get the job done, and we're going to swing our hardest and do whatever we can to get on base and get those runners in.
And it was Brinley Butts was the other one that had a couple of key. I think she drove in a couple of runs.
Yeah. And Haley did as well.
There we go.
She had a hit.
For the girls, when your offense is a little bit deeper, like that, or one coach keeps saying that our lineup is long. When everybody can kind of contribute and make something happen, Kaylin, how much does that kind of help the confidence to know if you don't get the job done, you can pass it to somebody else?
I just know that like if I don't get on base or like I haven't really struck out in a while. I don't mean to knock on wood, but knowing that I can talk to Addie or anybody in the dugout and let them know what I've saw, and they'll hit it. They're gonna attack the ball when they can, and I know they always back me and Haley up, especially like whenever we're having a hard time on defense. I know our offense comes in.
You're a catcher that leads off.
Yes, sir.
Are you fast?
Pretty fast, I would say so.
We're sort of kindred spirits. That's what I was too. I wasn't good at a lot of things, but I was good enough to do stuff like that. And Haley, you're cleanup, so obviously Coach put some faith in you to get some runs home. I mentioned the 4-run inning. When you're out there in the circle, it's kind of tight for a couple innings. You get those 4 runs up. How much did that help you kind of exhale if you were nervous? I don't know if you were as nervous as Coach or not.
I was semi-nervous. But, I mean, us scoring actually helped me out a lot because I knew that it was okay to let one slip, but after that I wouldn't let any more slip. But, yes, sir.
And to me, when you've got that lead, and even if it's just, I think you added on a couple innings later just with a run, just that one starts to relax you guys, but also starts to make it a little bit more tense, and then you broke it open. What was the 7th inning like for you out in the circle, knowing if I just throw strikes, I just got to get 3 outs and we're done here?
To be honest,
is it a blur by now?
Kind of. But I mean,
because you didn't give up much after they scored their run, they scored their run late, but you didn't give up. Like there was 3 or 4 innings in a row, I believe, when I looked at the game changer that
they had people on base, and
I would load up bases, and it would scare everybody. It would scare me so much because I'm like, oh, I got bases loaded. But I knew in the circle to be calm and relaxed, and that, I always had 2 outs when I would load up bases, which would scare everybody. And it's like, it was 0-0 and it was scary. But I knew to spin the ball hard and they wouldn't touch it.
I don't know who the modern day version of Dr. Phil is, but when you're the catcher, do you go out there and try to calm the waters a little bit?
Yes, definitely. Me and Haley have had some talks, but I definitely think I'm the one that can calm her down and keep her cool when she's struggling or defense isn't really on the same page.
Well, they're on the same page now. They play best of 3 series against Abilene Wiley, 4:30 p.m. Friday, 11 a.m. Saturday at the Ira Softball Complex in the 5A Division II by-district round. That wraps us up in the Westerner Fan Zone. We'll be back after this break in the Mustang Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.